The king of buying and selling cars finally got scammed. I still love the car, but...
All right, so tell me this story. This car has how many miles on it?
I bought it off some dirtbag car flippers on Craigslist who bought the car with an odometer that said it had 402,000 miles. And they
Wait. How many?
402,000 miles.
Yo, this car looks amazing for 400,000 miles.
First episode, we took it to Rassant and we did a compression test. It's good.
All right.
Didn't buy a complete turd. Perfect. I was pretty stoked on that, right? We posted it on Hoonigan Instagram. This dude messages me,
Yo, that's my dad's old car. I can't believe they sold it so quick.
402,000 miles, right? He bought it in like 93 with 200,000 miles on it, put another 200,000 miles on it, set a bunch of records with it at Buttonwillow, tracked it a ton, and then it just sat for a year. And then he sold it to these guys who claimed they wanted to like make it great, whatever, and they just put it on Craigslist and flipped it. But they took the odometer out, and I guess in these cars you could either buy a new one real easy or just roll it back, and they just rolled it back, advertised it as 115,000 miles.
Is it weird that I like the car more now that it has 400,000 miles? It's like it has a story now. Before it was just like a crappy old Porsche. Now it's a almost 500,000 mile Porsche.
Dude, that's my new goal with the cars. I want to get it to 500,000 miles on the OEM engine. So the owner said that the motor and the transmission have never, ever been opened up at all. My thing is I actually want to roll the odometer forward to 402 and then drive it as much as I can and then hit 500,000 miles at Laguna Seca, because I feel like that'd be really cool for the car. Now it's time to get to work. Step one of Porsche ownership, have friends that don't know how to do anything. First things first, gotta get situated with that oil leak. So I'm gonna jack this thing up. Got a power washer here. Gonna degrease the engine and then figure out exactly where the oil leak is coming from. It's always a good start to the project when you don't even know how to jack up the car you're working on. But found the jack points, put them on the torsion bar right there. Let's look at how disgusting this is. Oh baby, yeah. I mean, we saw this in the last episode. Gonna just power wash this stuff up, clean this up a bit so it's not as gross to work on, and then we'll pull off these exhaust manifolds and we'll get to work. God, it's hot. California, what are you doing? All right, power wash this thing up. Doesn't look too bad. I mean, it's got 40 years of burnt down oil grime on it, so didn't expect it to look new. Gonna pull off these heat exchangers, which house the exhaust manifolds, pull off the exhaust, the muffler, this whole thing. So they're here, around back, up and over into the muffler. We're gonna be replacing all this stuff, so I wanna get it all out of the way. It'll also help us be a lot easier to replace this oil drain tube here because it looks like a real pain if you leave the exhaust manifold in. Looks like all we got to do is pull off this collector here. Just 3 super old, super rusty bolts, so I'm sure that'll be real easy. And then I think it's just these 2 Allen keys, these big old band bracket things. Take these off and super heavy, super rusty looking muffler should just come right down. Yo, Porsche's so smart. So I got off the muffler, sure, got the little heat exchanger pipe off, and then I was like, man, this bolt looks like a complete nightmare to get to. Like, there's no way to get in there. They just put a little tube through the heat exchanger, so you can just stick an Allen key through and right in. So slick. I love that shit. Oh boy, I think I just rounded this one. Might have hit a minor roadblock. The heat exchanger bolts, the header to the cylinder head are insanely tight. So I looked up a quick DIY on Pelican parts. They are a massive resource when it comes to working on these things. Very, very risky. So basically what they say here is that it could be super risky because of the high heat and corrosion. You really risk breaking the studs in the head. I really don't want to break the studs in the cylinder head, so what I'm gonna do is gonna go run, grab some PB Blaster and start soaking them, and then I'll start removing the header tomorrow because I really don't want to break those. That could be a terrible time. I'm gonna go get some PB. Gonna let the PB soak in, gonna move the car back in the shop. And it's almost mandatory that when you take your exhaust off your car, you gotta give it a, just gotta at least give it a little go with no exhaust. Sounds way tougher than it is. Also, doesn't really sound that good. Can't wait to put a muffler on it. It's not fast enough. You can't have a car that loud that only makes 200 horsepower. All right, got the car back inside. Looks like it's in pretty good company here. Now it's time to get these exhaust manifold bolts off. So I've been soaking them in PB Blaster while I couldn't work on it. Will they come off or will they all break? And then I'll be miserable. Well, actually, then I'm just gonna make Soupy miserable because I don't know how to get the studs out of the cylinder head if they break. So let's hope for the best. So what we're working with here is a real gross looking engine, but I had to buy some tools to get these bolts out because the heat exchangers are right in the way. Picked up a long Allen key socket, an offset wrench. So hopefully we can get those off pretty easy. Moving, it's moving. Oh. First fucking one broken. All right, well, 2 out of 3 on this side. Feels like if the head of the bolt, it broke there, so hopefully there's enough threads there that we can just grab it and break it loose. Okay. Ah, that one. Oh, broke loose. Oh yeah, that's broke. 6 of the Allen barrel nuts, only 1 broke. Not terrible. Gonna work on getting these nuts off here. I've got 12. That doesn't fit, and then a 13 that feels a little too big. So might hit it with a little bit of heat. We got a torch right here and hope that the 13 doesn't round it out. That one broke loose, I think. Yeah, that one's spinning, sick. All right, another one working. This fucking break. Oh. Yeah, okay, got it off. Look at this big, disgusting piece of shit. Oh my God, it's so gross. So we got, these actually all came out pretty good. They took the stud out with it, but didn't break, so these are solid. This one, on the other hand, oh shit, we got lucky. I think it broke the stud pretty high. We should definitely be able to nut and bolt to double nut that one off. This is where you could see the oil leak is. This is the oil drain tube, so it's draining oil out of the cylinder head into the crankcase, and you could see that this is the one that's leaking. I bet it has a bad O-ring right there. This is a really easy part to change. Yes, this is awesome. So stoked. Had to call in the big guns. We only got 1 shot at this. I don't feel like screwing it up, so I'm gonna have Soupy weld it. All right, so where are you gonna ground on? Oh, you're gonna ground the nut and weld in the center?
Yeah.
Savage. Oh my God, the skill.
I don't know if that worked. There's a lot of putt, 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 putt. There's a lot of putt, putt right there. No, that didn't do shit.
Still spinning.
No?
Yeah.
No.
What about, I brought a nut, I brought a bolt. What if we welded a bolt to it?
No, it broke the bolt. It broke the stud.
Yeah.
See, it sheared the stud.
Yeah, so what do we do? Junk it, throw the car out?
Yo, why you bugging for?
We need an easy out, and I'll pick one up for tomorrow.
We lost, folks. We welded a nut to the stud 2 times, and it broke the stud twice. So before we break it flush with the head, we're gonna go and get a stud remover. Hopefully that works. If it doesn't, we're gonna be drilling and easy outing it. So now we got some extractor bits, which is basically just a reverse drill bit. So pretty much as it spins, it should pull the stud out. The drill bit doesn't work at all. It's come down to this, folks. Helicoil time. So couldn't get this thing going and straight, drilled it out. So you get a drill bit, a tap, helicoils, and the tool to install them. Comes with instructions that I feel like are real easy to screw up. Okay, I'm going for it. So I got a lot of crap from Pelican. Let me explain what we're gonna do. I got valve cover gaskets, upper and lower, even though I don't need those that we saw. Fuel filter, oil filter, fan belts, rear bumper molding, main oil line from the tank to the crankcase. And then these are the drain tubes that are what's causing our main leak. And that's about it. So that should be everything that we need. This should get us good to go to at least get this thing rocking. This is what we're gonna do. So you can see that this right here is leaking. So these are O-ringed right here, and they're collapsible because you can't get this in place so it's fixed. So what we do is you collapse them down and then you spread them out, and you have Circlip right here that locks it into place in between the cylinder head. You put O-rings here and here, and that seals, and then there's O-rings here to seal the tubes together. So those go up, and they slide into place right there. Step one, Circlip pliers. Pop the Circlip out of the Circlip. Use the pliers to get the Circlip apart. So what we're gonna do is actually get it open, use a screwdriver to bump it away, because it's real hard to push on a Circlip when you're trying to make sure that the prongs stay in there. So move this thing out, and I'll show you the technique that I had to use to get this thing actually out of the car. So we take these, we clamp it here, and then we take these, another set, clamp it here, and then we take the world's most gigantic channel locks, and we squeeze these together. Oh yeah, here it comes. Geyser. That's it. Spill oil all over the place. And here is the leaky one. You could see. Look at all that. That sucked. If I didn't have these Gigantor channel locks, I would have never gotten this off. All right, 2 down, 2 more to go. 1, 2, 3. Oh, come on, you're right there. Ah, my finger. God, I hate cars. I hope a Porsche mechanic is watching this and tells me how to do it the right way. Ready? 1, 2, 3. There we go. Is that it? Okay, cool. That one's out. Thank God. Jesus shit. Literally took almost 500 pounds of man and 2 massive channel locks that no one in a normal situation owns to get that out. If you've ever done this before and have an easier way, please tell me.
I own 2 of those.
Yeah, yo, if I didn't have these, this is an impossible job without these.
This is what I had to do to set my transmission into my bell housing on the Rover.
Thanks, bud.
No problem.
Just leave me hanging. Okay, so all the drain tubes are out. Next thing we're gonna do, well, I was reading an article on Pelican, something that's really overlooked is changing out what's called the S hose. And it's the main oil hose that goes from the oil tank to the crankcase. And it's literally just 2 hose clamps and a new hose. But I mean, these things get really tired. They're old. They're right next to all the heat because the exhaust manifold's usually right there. So if that got brittle and cracked, you lose all the oil your motor. For the $30-something the hoses and the 2 hose clamps, I'm gonna change that. Got the Sil Glide. We got all the oil drain tubes together, ready to go back in the car. So what you're gonna do is take the tube, big end goes to the crankcase, gonna get it basically in place, and then the 2 hose clamp method, how it works, and then you simply spread this using the 2 hose clamps. I'll have to reposition the hose clamps a couple times. So what you do is you just get in here, loosen the hose clamp up a little bit, slide it way back over to the other side of the tube, tighten it back up. Now it's in place right there. So we're gonna continue to just loosen this clamp up, slide it over, tighten it back up, boom, right in. Take the circlip pliers, boom, lock it in place. That's good to go. All right, we are done. Got the new tubes in, all 4 replaced. It's the weekend. Headers are supposed to show up tomorrow. So once those get here, we'll be able to button this thing up, fire it up, and then get it out on the road. Can't wait. Here's the factory garbage. So you can see here, let me mock up, right? Stock versus super spray. So these are not mufflers. They're actually 3-to-1 equal length headers. And then this box right here doesn't do anything for sound. It's actually what's called a heat exchanger. In the air-cooled cars, they're air-cooled, so they don't have coolant. The way heat works in like a modern car is the coolant goes through a heat exchanger, and then that gets blown by a blower motor. How it works in the air-cooled cars is it actually takes the heat off of your exhaust manifold and it pipes it into blower motors, and that's how you get heat from your air-cooled car, which is kind of ridiculous. These are now getting rid of, the way this goes is on the passenger side, it goes cross over the engine, collects here, goes through a catalytic converter, then into the muffler and out. This simplifies that, so we have equal length headers, V-bank clamps, and then muffler. So these are made by Super Sprint. I didn't even want heat, but literally no one had parts in stock anywhere, but ECS had these in stock. So I was like, wait 12 weeks for ones without heat or have heat. Heat smarter, so.
Are you deleting all this?
Yeah. Pretty much, that's the whole exhaust system now. Whereas this, yeah, it used to cross over like the transmissions right here, and then a big old muffler here that would come out on one side. So now this is like super simple, 2 in and then 2 out, and that's it. So this will save a ton of weight. It makes a bunch more power, and it should sound a lot cooler. All right, so I got the backdated oil line in, which is this line right here. Comes out, goes down around the bell housing, up here, and then to the oil thermostat there, which goes to the front to a cooler. And then this line right here is this S-hose that we changed. And it's not on it, but it's close to that heat exchanger. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna use this Thermotech thermo sleeve. And basically what it is just a heat barrier that you could slide your tube in. So it'll keep any heat that's on this heat exchanger safely off of this pipe. And yeah, this goes up there. So there's a little gap there, but still it's pretty close for comfort. So I think I'm just gonna take some precautionary measures, throw some Thermotech wrap on it, and then never have to worry about it. There we go. All installed, got some nice clearance there, some extra barrier, that's it. All right, and we got this all on. Looks pretty sick with the dual outlets. I did end up taking off the impact bumpers and the strip because this is a dual outlet, so it's on the driver and passenger side. And this didn't have the cutout. I didn't feel like cutting it because I have new bumpers. I just took off the lower valance for now, just so we can drive the car for a little bit. But yeah, it looks super sick. It's insane how simple this is compared to the OEM setup. So toss this thing in the trash or see if anyone wants it, just because I feel bad kind of getting rid of old parts. So we'll put those online, see if anyone wants to take those. Smoke this place out.
Yo, that was directly at me. Yeah, it's worse, but in case something catastrophic happens, it'll be your fault. That's about right. Yeah, you good. You're good. Soupy. What? Are you ready to see them tangs?
About to bump the resale value up real hard. Hold on.
Oh.
It's official.
Oh.
It's official, folks. Oh yeah. Oh. Or it's just
about to break. Them tangs.
baby. Wait.
Let's hold on.
Oh.
Dude, it's a Porsche. Oh my God. For sale. Double what I paid for it. All right, let's go drive this thing, man.
Let's go drive them tangs.
Drive this thing. I'm so excited.
Hey, Vinny, your brake light's out.
All right. Well, I fixed the high idle problem, and it actually turned out to only be the simple valve right in here. Finally doesn't idle at like 6,000 RPM, which is great. Car drives awesome. Sounds pretty cool now. Jolly, hit me with the cam. Yeah. So now I'm stoked. We gotta fix the way it looks.
I kind of like the ratty look.
Yeah, I mean, the trashiness fits how trashy it actually is. So, that's it for this episode. Car's running great, been driving it a ton. Next episode, we're gonna start digging into making this thing look cooler.
Just kidding. Hold up. Don't do that. I'm making it real. Don't do that.
Mechanics Monthly. Who wants the new Hoonigan, the Hoonigan calendar?